So, colleagues, once again, welcome to today's webinar. Today, we have the next session on the Future Skills webinar series around the topic of data, so data analysis with MS Excel. If you don't know me by now, my name is Michelle. I'm working as a learning analyst in the capacity development team. And in our team, we take care of your personal and professional development. And one part of it is to support you also in developing your future skills. And as data is identified as one of the future skills, we're very happy to offer this webinar series to you, where we dive into different topics out of the world of data, basically. And that's also what we're going to do today. So thank you so much for being here and for your interest and for your time. Let me share with you very briefly some information before we kick it off. We're going to share with you today a presentation and also an Excel. I will share all of that with you after the session, so don't worry about that. You will receive all the information, all the resources that you need. As you can see, we're also recording this session. So after the session, you will have the opportunity to look into it again, to work together with the presentation, the Excel, everything. And just look at what we shared with you today again afterwards. We're going to have first the presentation, and then there will also be time for you to ask your questions. And for that, we kindly ask you to use the Q&A functionality that we have here in Zoom. That's easiest also for us to monitor. So please put your questions in there. And in the end, we will make some time to answer as many questions as possible. We are already right now quite a big group, so it might be possible that we don't get to answer all the questions, but I promise we're trying our very best. And as you have already explored, there's also the reaction function. So you can send your reactions throughout the webinar. And you also have the closed captioning available. So in case that assists you throughout this webinar, then on the bottom in Zoom, you can also find this CC. And there you can use the closed captioning function. Okay, so that's it for the housekeeping rules so far. As I mentioned again already, this session is part of our Future Skills series. And today we're going to focus on the topic of Excel automation, more precisely on macro reporting. We already in the past, as part of this webinar series, had 3 amazing webinars with our expert Jakub. I will also share with you in a second the recordings of these sessions. So in case you didn't attend them, you can also look at the recordings from these sessions if that helps you for a better understanding also afterwards. But don't worry at all, in case you haven't joined any of these sessions, you're still more than welcome to be here today and learn from Jakub. So yeah, I'm very happy to introduce you to our expert Jakub, in case you don't know him yet. He used to be a former online volunteer as well, and is a real Excel expert that also led us through the past 3 webinars. And we're very happy, Jakub, that you're here with us again. I'm going to leave it to you to introduce yourself, but thank you so much for being here, and we're very much looking forward to the session today.
Okay, so let me share my presentation. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. For those of you who joined these webinars for the first time, my name is Jacob, and for the past 12 years, I've been working, I've been part of IBM as a senior business analyst. And as Michelle mentioned, we already had 3 webinars. The first one was about the data consolidation, data cleaning. The second one was about summarization of data, and the last one was about the data visualization. And today it will be maybe a little bit more advanced for some of you, and we will discuss about some automations in Excel using macros. So about housekeeping, Michelle already mentioned some of them. So demo will be presented just once. So I'm not going to repeat it like two times and so on. Feel free to submit your questions into Q&A, and we will respond on these questions after the presentation. The session will be recorded and made available for you, and also the files that I will present will be shared with you as well as presentation. So about macro, for those of you who heard this term the first time, very easy explanation at the beginning. So it's a recorded set of steps that Excel can repeat automatically. So instead of doing the same actions manually, you record them once and then run the macro to do everything for you. So I will show you how to record macro, how to record the steps, and how to use it. The important message is that you don't need to know how to write the codes. We will just record these macros, which will capture the actions step by step. And our goal, again, is not about to learn how to program, how to write the code, but it's about exploring the possibilities of automations of the Excel. So here are some key advantages of using macros. So why we should automate something in Excel and why we should use macros. So it automate repetitive tasks. So as an example, if you should provide some report on daily basis, so you don't need to create the reports from the scratch every day. You can create template and implement some macros into template. It saves you significant time. It ensures consistency. It ensures consistent formatting and reporting, and it reduces manual errors. So as an example, I had to provide on daily basis some complex reporting about the deployment of our department. And every morning I started with creation of these reports. I had to create reports from many tables, and I had to create many different views and so on. So at the beginning, it took me like 2 or 3 hours to create these reports. And after I created the template and I implemented some macros into template, it took me maybe 10 minutes to run these reports. Where to find the help? So as I mentioned, we are not going to learn how to write the codes. We are going to only learn how to record some macros. But if you will find it useful and if you would like to continue and explore possibilities, then here are some sources where you can find some useful information. If you will have some issues with codes, or if you would like to search for some solution. So the first example, the website Stack Overflow, it's used by programmers, and also experienced programmers use this site to search for some solutions or to fix some bugs they have in codes. Then you can use ChatGPT. Here I would like to mention that, as always, don't share any sensitive or private information or company information on the with ChatGPT. And don't share full codes. So if you would like to use ChatGPT, then use it just for some general questions and some small parts of the code. Never share something sensitive. The next one, Microsoft Learn documentation. And the last one, YouTube. So even if you find some codes or solutions on the website or with ChatGPT, it's always the best to learn how to do it if you see it. So the visual demonstration is very useful if you would like to solve something. And there is many different tutorials on YouTube. So practical demonstration about the usage of macro. So what you can do with macro, you can create macro, which will clear your template. So let's imagine that you worked on some report, you had a template full of data, and after the 1 week, you would like to start from the beginning. So just not to remove all the data one by one, you can create a macro which will remove all the data you need to be removed, and you can start from with the template from the scratch. You can use the macro to import data from another sheet or file. So as an example, if you are responsible for consolidation of reports from different data providers, as an example, you have 5 educators, and they register UN volunteers from the education, and they send the files to you. So you get 5 files as an example. So you don't need to manually insert or copy paste the data from these files into your master template, but you can use macro to import all the data into your template. The next one, you can use it to copy and paste data. So you can copy data from some range of cells or from some cells into another cells. The next one, you can create macro to connect to the databases of your company and pull data directly to Excel. A lot of also my colleagues, they use different programs to pull data from databases, and then they had to copy data from the other program, as an example, MySQL or whatever, into Excel. But you can also create a macro in Excel which will connect to database and pull the data directly from database. So it's saving time. And the last one, you can also create a template, and with one click, you can send emails to, as an example, to 500 different recipients with customized email. So every recipient will receive the email with different content. So this is something you can also automate with macro, but this is this is advanced code, and this is something that you cannot just record as a macro. So for that, you need to know how to code. They just to demonstrate you what you can do with these macros. Before we will start with recording of macro, you have to add the developer tab into your Excel. So if you will now open Excel and you will check your menu, then developer tab will not be there probably. So you have to go to File, Option, you have to select Customize Ribbon, and under Main tab, you have to find Developer and check it and click OK. And you can do this also from the ribbon if you will do right click. So I will show it to you. So now we will move to Excel. So as I mentioned, I already have this developer tab here, but if you cannot find it, you can go to File. Maybe you will have option already here. I don't have, so I have to click on More and Option. And now you have to go to Customize Ribbon. And here in Main tabs, you search for Developer, it's here. So if you have it unclicked, you have to check it, and then you click OK, and Developer tab should appear here. So to demonstrate you how you can use macro, so I created this dummy template for registration of UN volunteers, and there are three parts in this dashboard. So the first one, it's first name, last name, age, and so on. So it's the name of the input fields. Then we have 5 buttons, macro buttons, and each of these buttons is performing the different action. And here below, it's not related to today's education, but it's just to demonstrate you how you can use it. So if we will change something, these KPIs will be automatically updated. And if you are asked by your senior leadership to provide the report with KPIs, you can directly copy, screenshot these KPIs, and you can use it in email and so on. So in these KPIs, you can see we have total number of registered volunteers. Then we have representation of male and female, participant type. So if the volunteer is online, national or international, and then you have geography representation. So based on the map, you can visually see the dark blue means that there is more volunteers, and light blue means there is less volunteers, and the white means that there is no volunteer. So then we have I will start with these input fields. So here we have first name, last name, age, gender type, and country. So these input fields could be used to insert new volunteer manually. So, and once we will fill in the information, so attributes for volunteer, we will just click the macro add record, and the record will be added to our table. So here we have table where we have all volunteers, and when we click on that macro, it will automatically add the record here. So if I go back to dashboard, and I will fill in some information. And here in table now, you can see that there is no my name. And if I go back and I will just click on this macro, the macro will automatically add the record into table, and the dashboard will be updated. So if I will go to table, my name was added here. Okay, so this is what macro can do actually. Then we have another button which says remove table. So as I mentioned, if you would like to remove all data from your template and start from the beginning, then there is the button which will remove all the records from the table. So if I will click on remove table, then you can see that KPIs were updated, my dashboard is updated, and there are no records. If I will go to table, you'll see that there are no records now. So in this example, it's easy and you can do it manually, but if you have complex template and you would like to remove all different ranges of data, then it's much easier if you create macro which will do it for you. The next button, go to table. So this is a very easy macro which is just switching between the tabs. I have the same macro here, so you can just move between the tabs. It's actually doing the same as if you will change manually here with the buttons, but if you build some dashboard, it looks just a little bit more fancy if you have these buttons. Refresh dashboard. So if you create some template, it's always good to have this button. And why? Sometimes if you have a huge template with 100 case of data and many calculations, and you will change something in a table, and which will trigger some calculations, then the Excel will it might crash, or it will be very slow. So if you will go to formulas, here you have the icon calculation option, and sometimes I think that it happened automatically, that it switched to manual if you have a lot of data and calculations in your Excel file. And also if you work with if you create a big report with many calculations and data, then also you can change it manually, just not to update all calculations if you change something. So that's why I have this button. So when I click on it, it will automatically refresh the pivot tables and charts. So it might happen sometimes that you will change something in table, you will check it in pivot table, and pivot table will not be refreshed. And it's exactly because these formulas are set as manual. And this button actually, it's just doing the same as if you will go to data and you click refresh all. And then the last one, import file. So as I mentioned, if you will try to consolidate data from multiple sources, then you can just click on this button, and the tables will be imported into your template. So you don't need to do it manually. So if I will click on this button, then you just search for your file you received from some data provider, and you just click on the file, and data are automatically imported into your table, right? So if I will go back to dashboard, my KPIs were updated, and data are in table. Here, it's important to mention that if you would like to import some files, then your file must have the same order of columns, and the data must be consistent. So you cannot just import whatever file you would like to import. So in that case, if you would like to combine more files, then if you will create template for, in this example, for educators, and they will fill out informations, then it's always best to keep the same layout of the template, so they will not send you back the template with some inserted columns and with some extra columns and so on. It must be always the same. Otherwise, you will have to change it in the coding. So, but if you would like to use just recorded macros, then you have to keep it as simple as possible. So this was a short demonstration about how you can implement macros into your template. And these are not the only macros that exist, but you can record whatever steps you would like to record, and it depends on your daily activities. So you can also create macro, as I mentioned, which will connect to some databases of your company. And as an example, this table might be pulled directly from databases. But this is a little bit too advanced. So for this, you will need to already know some basics from the coding. Okay, so now I will show you how to record some of these easy macros. So our exercise, we have 5 different exercises. And in the first one, we should create input fields for entering record details. And the second bullet in this exercise to create table header where the records will be stored. So what we are going to do, basically, we should create these field names and input fields. So first name and input field, last name, input field, and so on. So I will open a new file, and now you can select whatever cells you would like for your form, but I will select this one, C3, and I will insert here the name of the first attribute. So first name. And this depends based on what attributes you would like to collect about the volunteers, and it depends on the requests from your leadership. So if they would like to see the representation based on countries, then you will collect information about countries of the volunteers. If they are interested about the type of volunteers, then you will store the data about type of volunteering. Or if they like to see representation of t-shirts as an example, you can collect the information about the colors of t-shirt and so on. So you have to always think about what report you are going to build, and based on that you will just collect the information. So the second attribute will be last name, age, and country. So let's say that we are requested to create some reports for representation of ages and countries. Okay. I will just change alignment of the text. So I just selected, I will select the cells and change alignment. Okay, and let's say that our input fields are right next to the name of the field name. So just to make it to look a little bit like form, I will change the color for the cells, and I will change also the color of the text. I will do it dark blue. Okay, and just to highlight these fields where we will fill in the attributes of volunteers, I will change the color to white. So now it looks like form, right? So we have the name of field, and here we can fill in the data. It's exactly the same as in the dashboard I created. So we have field name and we have the input field. The next exercise is to create table header for our table where we will store the data. So actually it's the same as I have in my template. So here is my table, and this is the table header. So I'm going to my practice sheet, and here I will just create the header for my table. Header will contain the same information as my form. So the first one is first name, next column is last name. Next one is age and country. I will adjust columns. I will change, I will make text in bold. So with shortcut Control and B, I will just change the text to bold. You can do it manually also here. And I will change the color of header. So I will change it to light blue as an example. And we are done with the next step. So if I will go back to my exercise, the next step is to record macro that will copy the input values into the first row of my table. And then we should insert the button, rename it, and assign to this button the macro that will perform this activity. So if you would like to record macro, as mentioned, you already added the developer tab. So if you click on developer tab, you have many options here. One of them is record macro. So if I click on record macro, then I'm asked to provide the name of the macro. So you can insert whatever name you would like. So I will name it like and basically you name it based on what you would like to do. What you would like from macro. So I will call it like add record underscore and test. You can also create a shortcut, so you can call this macro with shortcut and not with button, but for now I will not create shortcut and I will just click OK. And from this moment, the macro is recording all our steps, what we will do. So in the background, the code is written and based on our steps. So what we should do, we should copy our input fields. So I will copy the first one and I will press Ctrl C, which stands for copy, or I can do right click and copy data, and I will paste it into the first column, right click, and I will paste it as values. Now we don't have any values there, so I will just do it with blank cells. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And once I'm done, I just click on stop recording. And now the all steps were written into macro in the background. So I can do it once again, and I will fill in also the information, so it's better to understand. So I will write here my details. Okay, I can change alignment again to make it a little bit, to make it look better. And now I'm going to record macro once again. So I go to developer, record macro. I will call it like add record test 2. Okay, and I'm going to do the same. So I copy the first input, I paste it into my table. Second, okay, and stop recording. So Now we created again the macro, which copied the data from form and insert it to our table. Now, if we would like to use this macro, we have to create a button and assign this macro to the button. So again, if you go to developer, you go to insert. Here you have different options, but for our purpose, I will use the button. And now I have to create this button. So I will create it here. Okay. And it's asking me which macro I would like to assign to this button. So it's the second one we created. So it's add record test 2. Okay. And macro is assigned to our button. I will rename the button. So I don't want to keep button 1, but I will call it like add record. And that's it. So the macro is recorded and we assigned it to the button. So now if we will add new record, we can keep Slovakia, and I will click on the button. The record is automatically added to our table. However, as you can see, the old record was just overwritten, and it's not it's not in the table. So we have to change the logic how we will record the macro. So to add new record and keep old one, we will just I will just take the records and move them one row below. And so I'm going to record the macro once again, but I will record different steps. However, also be able to do it, I have to create some help cells where I will just store references for my input values. And then I will copy those attributes into my table. So to create reference, I just click here in the cell B12. I will write equal, and I want this cell D3. Okay, so now in this cell, I have the same information as in the first input field. I will do the same for others. Okay, and now I will record the macro, and I will actually copy these cells. But if I will copy these cells directly, in the cells I have formulas, so I will copy formulas only. So before I will copy this data, I will copy them first in the row below, and I will paste it as text. So in the cell B12 we have formula, but B13 we have text, and I want to copy text only, not the formulas. So again, developer, record macro, add record test 3. Okay, and now I am recording. So I will just select the cells I like to copy to my table, Control C to copy data. I will click on the first column and row in my table, right click, and I will select insert copied cells. And I like to move the old records down, and okay. And I copied the references. So that's what I mentioned, that we have to first copy these references one row down and paste it as values. So I have to record it once again. So I click on record, and again add record test 4. Okay, and the first step is to select references, copy, paste it down as values, and now copy again the values, select the first cell, first row in our table, insert copied cells, and move all the records down. Okay, and now we have records copied. And I can also just to remove the input field in the same macro and stop recording. So now if I want to assign this new macro into my button, I will just do right click on the button, assign macro, and I will assign the last macro. Okay, and now let's test it. So I will again fill in the attributes for volunteer. Okay, and if I click on a macro, the record was added to my table, and all the other records were moved down. So this is the example how you can record the macro, and if you like to copy paste the data from form into your table. The next exercise is to record the macro that will clear all the records from the table, and again insert the button, rename it, and assign the macro. So again, and this will be very easy. So you go to developer, record macro. I will call it delete table. Okay, and now it's recording, and I will just do steps for deletion. So I will just select my table, and let's expect that we have in the table 100 records. So I want to remove all 100 records. So I will select the table from cell I3, I think, to L100. Okay, and I will just go to home and delete. Records were deleted. I go to developer and stop recording. Now again, insert table, a button. Once again, insert button. I will place it here, and I will assign to the button macro delete table. Okay. Now, if you would like to align the buttons to rows and columns, you just click on the corner of the button, and if you will press Alt on keyboard, you can align the macro to rows and columns. And also from the other side, also with this one. Okay, so it looks much better now. And I will rename it. So remove table as an example. So now I can try to add more records. So I will edit once. Okay, I have to fill it again. And I will add the record. So we have 3 records, and let's say after 1 week, I'm going to work with this template again. So I will just click remove table, and I will just record the macro that will remove all the tables I need to remove, and it will automatically prepare the template for the work, so I can use the template again. So that was about recording of macro and assigning macros to buttons. And now you can see that it's actually the same as I showed you in this dashboard. It's a little bit different layout and format, but the logic is basically the same. So you can create the dashboard like this with some KPIs and assign some macros. The next thing, if I will try to write age in my dashboard, and I will, instead of age, I will write here name, I will get an error message, and that's because for this field we can select only from the list of the values. And why? And it's because we like to keep the data consistent. So if I will go back, and let's imagine that that we will allow to data provider, to some educator who collect data about the volunteers, and we will allow them to insert some invalid data. Then it will be just inserted to our table. And if you will then try to consolidate data and try to create the reports, you will have issues in the report. So you will have, as an example, if someone will insert as a country UK, another one will use United Kingdom, the next one will use UN Kingdom, and so on, then you will have multiple names for the same country, and you will have to clean the data by yourself. So that's the data validation is a very good tool to keep the data consistent. So how you can do it? If we would like to use some list for age as an example, you just click on this age input field, you go to data, and under data you select this icon data validation, and here you have different options what you would like to allow to user. So you can allow to user to insert only numbers as an example, to insert only date or text length. So you can allow to user to use only maximum six characters as an example, and so on. But we would like to use a list, so I will click on the list, and then you have to select the source for your list. We don't have a list created yet, so I will just cancel it, and I will create the list first. I will create a new tab, and here I will create the list for age, and we would like to allow to user to select the age only from let's say 20 to 29. I go back, I click on the input field, data validation, I select list, and source for my list. I go to the different tab, I select the list, and OK. And now they can select only from the options that we have in the list, right? If they will put here 50, it's not on our list, so they will get a message. So you can also change the logic for data validation. So again, if I will go to data validation, And for example, if you go to error alert, you can customize the error message. So I can write the title of message, and here I can just write you need to select from the list only and number value. Okay. And now if someone will try to put here text, they will just get the message that I set up. Okay, so cancel, and it's not allowed them to use this value. You can also change the style, so you can select that you like to only inform the user that they inserted wrong input, but they still can continue. So if I will click OK, and if they will select here, let's say age 45, but it's not on our list, they will insert it. So they will get our message, but the number is still there, so they can add the record, right? So so that's how the validation works. In our exercise, we still have two more exercises, but basically the logic how to create the macro. I already explained it, and also how to insert the button, rename it, and assign the macro. So you can practice these two steps. So you will do the same as we did. So you will record macro, you will perform the steps, you will stop macro, create a button, and assign the macro. So back to my presentation. Three key learnings from today's session. So I hope that now you can imagine and that you understand that what macro is. And again, it's not about that now you will create a file with many macros and everything. It's about you have to practice, right? And also you will find out that if you create macro, sometimes you record also some not necessary steps. So you have to perform really only the steps that you would like to be to record. And now I hope that you also understand how macro can save you time, and how it can help you to perform some tasks that you perform on the daily basis. And also three things to remember. If you create a macro and it's in your file, always remember that you have to save the file as XLSM format. So in this format, the macros are saved. If you will save it as a regular Excel file, then the macros will be deleted. The second one, you can reuse macro codes, but you always have to remember that the macro was recorded for specific cells and tabs in the file. So if you would like to change it, use it in different file, then you have to change the code. So if you will learn how to work with codes and where to change attributes, then you can reuse it. But if you are just recording the macro, then probably the best is to record the macro again. And always, if you will update your codes or your templates, always save the last version and start to update a new version, because if you will change something, then sometimes you cannot go back and you will lost all your work. So that's it, and we have 3 minutes left. So I'm not sure if we will still have time to answer for the questions, but if there is some question, Michelle, maybe that was asked multiple times, then we can check.
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much for the presentation and for also guiding us in the Excel, and having this step-by-step guide. I think is also very helpful. A lot of questions were coming around like the presentation, and if we share all of that, I try to answer that already, but I see that questions are still coming in there. So we will share the presentation, we will share the Excel, and we will also share the recording so that you can look into both of them together basically and practice, and then maybe also go back and forth in the explanations that you have from this webinar. We will share that via email with all of you, so don't worry about that. We will share it with the email that you signed up for, so all of you are going to receive all the resources. And then we have like 2 questions still. Okay, now there are coming more questions. Let me briefly share the first 2 of them with you. So first, the question was if it's also possible to use this in like the web version of Excel without having to install the Excel app. And when it comes to completing the records, like if there's one question when the record is incomplete, can it also remind the user to fill in the empty cells? Is that possible?
That's probably possible, but you will have to create a new one macro which will validate the input fields. So if the fields will be empty, then you will get some message. But that's something that you have to think about the logic, how to create this macro and how to record it. So yeah, so that's it. And about the online version of Excel, I don't think that it's possible to have macros in online Excel. I'm almost sure. So
Okay, thank you for that. Fantastic. And colleagues, also note in the chat, I just shared with you the recordings of the first presentations that we had, or like the first webinars that we had. And I also saw that there are many of you asking for French speaking content as well. We also had 3 webinars on data already in French. These were not held by Jakub, and it wasn't completely the same content, but I hope that it's still useful for you. I also shared them with you in the chat, so kindly copy them over, or also look them up again on our eCampus. There we have the webinar recordings, and you can find all of these there. So that's hopefully going to be useful for you as well. And with that, let me say thank you once again to you, Jakub, for your time and for sharing all of this. I think it was very useful and highly appreciated by all of us. So thank you so much. Thanks, colleagues, for being here and for taking the time to learn. Yeah, and please keep learning also with the resources that we're going to share with you afterwards. And yeah, with that, thank you so much to all of you and have a great day. See you again very soon.
thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.